Right now, there's something in your home you've touched thousands of times, and it has a secret you've never noticed. Those tiny holes on your electrical plug, they're not there by accident. In fact, they're proof of a 100-year-old invention that changed everything. And the real reason they exist today? It's nothing like you'd expect. Most people assume those holes serve some purpose related to electricity itself. Safety feature maybe? Or a way to save metal? Wrong. The truth is way more interesting. And once you know it, you'll never look at your wall outlets the same way again. Let me paint you a picture. It's 1900. You want to use an electric toaster. Here's the problem. Your house has no electrical outlets. None. Your entire home is wired only for lights. So what do? You find the nearest light bulb, unscrew it from the ceiling, and screw your toaster cord directly into the socket. Sounds ridiculous, right? This wasn't just inconvenient. It was dangerous. Live electricity. Hot metal. One wrong move and you could get seriously hurt. People were getting electrocuted doing this. Something had to change. But who would solve this problem? Enter Harvey Hubbell. In 1904, this guy had an idea that sounds simple today, but was revolutionary back then. What if electrical plugs could detach from appliances? What if they could just unplug? He invented the first detachable electrical plug. Game changer. But early versions weren't perfect. They'd fall out of the socket too easily. People would plug in their toasters, and halfway through making breakfast, the cord would slip out and crash to the floor. Hubbell knew he needed to fix this. So in 1913, he patented an improved design. And this is where those mysterious holes finally enter the story. What did he add that would last over a century? Here's what Hubbell did. He added those tiny holes to his metal prongs. But they weren't random. Inside your wall socket, there were matching tiny spring-loaded bumps. When you pushed the plug in, those bumps would click directly into the holes, like a lock and key system. This kept the plug firmly in place. No more falling out. No more electrical hazards. It was brilliant engineering. For decades, this bump and hole system was considered the gold standard. Every plug worked this way. Every socket had those bumps. It was perfect. Manufacturers loved it. Consumers loved it. Hubbell's invention became the standard across North America. But here's where things get weird. Fast forward to today. Open up a modern electrical outlet. Crack it open and look inside. You won't find those bumps. They're gone. Completely abandoned. Modern wall sockets use a totally different system now. Instead of bumps clicking into holes, they use friction. Tight spring-loaded metal plates grip the flat sides of your prongs to keep the plug in place. It's simpler, cheaper, and honestly more reliable. So this raises an obvious question. If modern sockets don't have bumps anymore, why do manufacturers still put holes in the prongs? Why not just make them solid metal? The answer is stranger than you think. Those holes didn't disappear because they got a new job. Not one new job. Two. First, manufacturing. When factories build power cords, they use a metal rod that slides perfectly through those two holes. This rod holds the prongs absolutely straight and parallel, while hot liquid plastic is injected around them. Without those holes, the prongs would move around. The plastic wouldn't set right. The whole manufacturing process would fail. So the holes aren't optional for companies. They're essential to how plugs are made. Every single cord made today still needs those holes to be manufactured correctly. But there's a second reason that's even more important. Look at any broken power tool, a dangerous saw, a drill that's been recalled. You'll notice something. A tiny lock or a zip tie looped through the holes of the plug. This is called lockout tagout. It's a safety procedure that prevents anyone from plugging in dangerous equipment. By running a lock through those holes, you make it physically impossible for a child to plug something in, or an unaware worker, or anyone who shouldn't be using that equipment. Those holes save lives. They're the reason kids don't get electrocuted. They're why workers go home safe. Hubbell's 1913 invention is still protecting people today. But the story doesn't end there. Here's something surprising. According to modern electrical codes, those holes are technically optional now. Manufacturers don't legally have to include them anymore. The bumps inside sockets are gone. The original locking mechanism is history, but almost every plug still has them. Why? Because the benefits are too valuable to abandon. The manufacturing advantage alone keeps them around. Add in the safety aspect, and you've got two really good reasons to keep a design from over 100 years ago. Hubbell never could have predicted this. His invention for one problem became the solution for two completely different problems. This is the thing about good design. Sometimes it sticks around for reasons the original inventor never imagined. Those holes have been there so long that they've become invisible. You use them every single day without thinking about them. But they're not a mistake. They're not a leftover. They're proof that sometimes the best inventions are the ones that keep evolving, that keep finding new purposes, that keep being useful, even when the original problem they solved is long gone. Hubbell solved a crisis in 1913. 100 years later, his solution is still saving lives. Here's what's wild. This is just one example. Walk around your house right now. How many objects do you own that have features you've never questioned? Designs that have been around so long you assume they're necessary. But when you actually look into them, they're solving problems from decades ago. The red circle on your fire extinguisher? There's a reason for that. The little dots on toaster slots? Someone invented those for a specific crisis. Your keyboard layout? Designed to prevent jams on typewriters that haven't existed for 50 years. Every object around you has a story, a 100-year-old mystery. And the question isn't just about electrical plugs anymore, it's, what else in your home are you not actually seeing?